Welcome to Dead Day, the only podcast that asks, why haven't you made one of these in so long?
Correct.
My name is Wally Phelps, and
I am Carlos Longoria.
today we will be discussing Banjo Kazooie. It's a wonderful Monday night here on our record day.
Yes.
How are you doing?
I'm doing.
All right, let's move into our topic now.
Last episode, how long has it been? I've had shingles for 2 months now, right?
Yeah, about that much.
So it is still an issue. So for some people, for those of you that don't know, for some people, shingles, it generally lasts the blistering and whatnot and everything generally is about a week or so, sometimes a little longer. The pain itself can last about that time. Usually it's a couple of weeks. Sometimes it's a month, sometimes it's more than 2 months. Sometimes it never goes away.
Right.
I am in month 2. It's not as bad, you know what I mean? It's tolerable at this point. But it is this entire area is just sensitive, right here at my ribs. So it's a pain to deal with. You know what I mean? And I don't want to start off like, hey, how you doing? I'm doing terrible, Wally. Old man problem. You know what I mean?
Well, and that's the thing. We are part of sitting at old man problems.
I know. But as far as everything else goes, the work is going fine and everything. I had a little bit of funk at work for a little while. I was just the work that I do is gets pretty busy sometimes. And man, I tell you what, when it gets busy, it is rough sometimes. But besides that, it's all good.
Pretty decent.
Man, life's great. Honestly, I have not. I am working on a few other things at the moment, trying to expand my creativity. I used to be a really big into art when I was young. I used to draw a lot. That's where all my time went. If I wasn't playing video games, I was drawing. And I was decent. I'm not gonna say that I was a good artist or anything like that, But I was one of the kids that when I was in school, whenever there was some kind of art project or whatever like that, I was one of the kids that got picked whenever we did a group activity because everybody knew I could draw decent, and it was fine. I was more of a I drew my own things, but I like to draw a lot of comic book stuff, growing up, and I was good at I don't know how to say it, drawing what I saw, you know what I mean? So I drew what I saw. I always had a hard time making my own shading and things like that because for some reason my brain just couldn't figure that out. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I mean, I get it because it's there's kind of a disconnect between what's happening on the page and what your head is trying to communicate to
right
your hand.
because in my brain, man, I know what I want it to look like, but it just doesn't come across that way as well. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
I'm okay at it. It's been quite a while since I've actually drawn, so drawing by hand is just not has been not a thing for many years at this point. I'm not gonna get into how I fell out of it, but it's been quite a few years, and I'm very much out of practice. I am learning to use different things, to make images and things like that and everything. I've been fiddling a lot with the AI image generation. I'm having a good old time playing with that, making up a bunch of stuff. It's fun. and or at least I find it fun anyway. It's interesting the things that this thing comes up with, as well as like other AI generative art stuff. But yeah, I've been trying to learn more things along the lines of like using Photoshop and or tools similar to it anyway, because I do not want to pay for Photoshop currently, or Adobe Illustrator. Illustrator would probably be the one that I would go for because it's more suited to like what I would want to do. But that's $30 a month, and
Seems steep.
well, you can get it at 20, but okay. So you can pay $21.99 a month or something like that. Anyway, it's like $22 a month. If you either pay the whole thing for the year, because it's a yearly subscription, or you commit to a year and you pay it monthly. So you get in a contract, and if you have 14 days.
That feels like too much.
I know.
It really does.
Just
like at that point, I'm like,
I know.
I'm done.
I know. So if you do the year contract, you have 14 days to change your mind. If you don't cancel before those 14 days are up, you owe them 50% of your remaining contract. So whatever the math comes out to, the $300 or whatever the hell it is, 200 and whatever dollars for the year, you're going to owe them 6 months worth of subscription money. Whatever.
Yeah, I'm not even, this is why I stopped messing with these types of programs and these types of AI generation things whenever I saw that almost all of them have some sort of subscription component to it, or you got to buy like tokens or something. It just feels like something that can be ad based, like a like any other type of media.
Right. There's free ones out there that you can use for free.
But those are garbage.
No, not all of them are. There's another one that I use a lot. You have plenty of tokens to use on your free account. They refresh every 24 hours.
That's the thing. I don't want to wait. I am a very impatient man. If you tell me I have to wait,
yeah, but you get 150 tokens.
Doesn't matter.
24 hours.
For example, any kind of mobile app or anything of that nature that makes you wait, or you have to have a certain number of like gems to move on, and you have to wait a day to do it, or you gotta. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, but I don't think
my time is valuable.
Right,
my money is valuable.
But you know what I mean? Like there are options. You know what I mean? And there's a few of them.
I wouldn't do anything. I would just play with it. I wouldn't necessarily use it for anything other than that. But
right, and that's what I'm saying. Like this one is free to use. You can go to Leonardo.ai, and that one is free to join. You have to they do their thing where they have to approve you to get in. So you go to the website, try to join.
You're already giving me more steps than I want to follow.
Look, I know those like.
That's what I'm saying. It's like everything you're telling me.
All you have to do is sign up, and then you get your whitelist email saying yes, you've been added.
Oh
and
my God,
and then
no, I don't even look at my email. What are you talking about?
Oh my God. But yes, anyway, what you been up to, Wally?
Honestly, not a whole heck of a lot of things. My wrists have been really bad. I think it's like carpal tunnel comes occasionally, and it's my right wrist mostly. It's my mousing wrist.
Yeah,
and I am my day job requires me to be mousing all over the place, and somebody is going to clip that. I'm mousing all over the place.
Mousing.
And we So I haven't been playing video games as much as I would like,
Yeah.
but I have played some Fortnite lately.
Okay.
Interesting thing, and this is an update to a previous episode.
Oh yeah.
They are in fact adding rank play, and it's going to show you what lobby you're in, and I like that idea.
Interesting. So I like ranked and other stuff because you're generally in that tier, and as long as you're in that tier, in that ranked group, you kind of stand a chance. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so if they're doing it the same way that these other places do their ranking, you know what I mean? If they
Well, the way they're doing theirs, they're first off, you have to have survived over 500 players, so you have to outlive 500 players to get into rank.
So at minimum, we're talking 15 games.
So, well, I mean, depending upon how good.
Well, yeah. Like if you win one, that's 99 already.
99, yeah.
And then if you get 10th, then that's minus that, minus that, minus that. You know what?
Exactly. So you're gonna end up playing.
Yeah, I would say at the rate that you and I generally play at, we're usually in the, not lately, but you know what I mean. Like usually we make top 10, so that's 90. It's 90 games.
This season has been tough. So
90 games.
Like, that's about 10 games.
10 games, and then counting in maybe like those odd games where we just like die early in the game. That's another 5 or 6 games. So 15 games.
the way it's been working now,
which isn't terrible.
So what it is, you jump in, in ranked play. They're getting rid of arena, for ranked.
Okay.
And once you jump in, you play one game, and then it'll place you. And it's going to be, each tier is going to have 3 different kind of sub tiers.
Okay.
So there's bronze 1, 2, and 3, and then you move up, and then so on and so forth until you get into the higher tiers. And the last tier is called Unreal. And but once you hit Unreal, you can't get out of Unreal. But you can move up and down in the other tiers.
Interesting. So Unreal, you make Unreal tier, and you are locked into Unreal tier on that for that season, I would imagine.
In this season, yeah. So and this is going to be season 0, and it's going to go all the way to the end of next season. I think they said. I can't remember.
What? But, when does this start?
Tomorrow.
All right.
So it's going to.
Are we playing tomorrow?
Do that. Now, pubs. I imagine public matches are going to be, dare I say, easier.
It could be, because I don't play ranked very often. In honestly, I don't play any, with the exception of the Starlight 84 that I started playing, on the PC recently, only because they finally released it on PC. I had been playing it on mobile for a little while. And honestly, over the past several weeks, I haven't even played any mobile games. Like, I've been so busy with work and other things, I just have not had time for gaming. And I know I was telling you about, I was like, I think I'm going to cancel my Xbox subscription for temporary, because, you know what I mean? And if I want something that's on Game Pass, all I need to do is just pay a $10, the $9.99 for PC or whatever, and just buy it for the month or whatever, and I'll have it for the month. You know what I mean? And
no, you don't need any further.
Yeah, I don't need it any further than that month. So yeah.
I almost downloaded Redfall.
Oh.
But then I saw all of the backlash, and I'm like, no, never mind.
Yeah, that's
so.
Always something, man.
Because it's locked at 60 frames per second. The AI looks like it's garbage. All of the level design look lapdash. The storylines are told in like stills, and it just looked it looked cool in the trailers. But then whenever I started seeing the actual reviews go up, it's like, wow, this is way worse than I thought it would be. I was interested in a video game for a change, and this happens.
Yeah.
But going back to Fortnite, also tomorrow, Miles Morales gets put in the in the store, so I am going to pick up some Miles Morales. Yeah. I'm in the Star Wars Battle Pass right now, trying to work my way to Darth Maul. Because I needed Darth Maul. I'm sorry.
Of course, yeah.
I mean, and my thing was that if they bring up somebody that I would own a Funko Pop of, I will get it. And well, Miles Morales, I'm gonna have to get it. So that's the update on that one. I don't think there's and a new Double Dragon. That's another update. If you look at the Dead Game Twitter, I actually shared the trailer on there. It's interesting that it's a very cartoony style that they're going with.
It's a very different style than I expected. You know, I kind of like it. You know what I mean? Like, it's interesting. Mm-hmm. It's different. The game
I think it's gonna be cool.
Yeah, I think it's gonna do fine. They didn't really say like a lot about like, you know, certain features and whatnot. I'm sure they're trying to just like, you know, they gotta hype up the game itself first and then be like, hey, look, you do this and that. But the fact that they introduced other characters as playable characters is a plus for me, because now, remember I was saying, I was like, it'd be fun if you could play as Marion or something. You know, they can make her and Marion.
But there they are.
And
she was the third person in the chat.
Yeah. So and then they have another character. I can't think of the other character's name right now.
Right.
But regardless, we're getting another Double Dragon, and I will be purchasing this one.
I might also. It depends. If it's on Game Pass, I'm definitely going to download it.
Yeah, if it's on Game Pass, I'll get it. You know, on Game Pass. I'll go ahead and get Game Pass for the month and play it.
I think it's going to be $30.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's a lot of those games that are like that. I mean, like
right.
Streets of Rage 4 was $30, and you know, all the Ninja Turtles was $30. You know, all of these games that are making comeback games kind of thing they're all $29.99.
Well, I'll probably get it on the Switch. No, I won't. I'm sorry. I thought I was on Nerd Cave Retro for a second.
What are you, Jason?
If I do get it, I'll probably get it on PlayStation 5. If I have to buy it. If I have to buy a game, it's going on the PlayStation 5. It's an interesting thing, and a wonderful segue into our topic. But so I think that we might want to go ahead and say that today's game is Banjo Kazooie.
You know, this is a game that I don't have a lot of experience with.
Oh wow!
I only play good games.
Well, I don't like games. Well, that's the end of today's episode. No, but
see you all next season, everybody.
Right. See you next season. What I was going to say is they, as far as a segue is concerned, if I'm buying a game, it's going to be on the PlayStation 5. If the game is available on Game Pass, I'll play it on my Xbox. Sure. Now, here's the thing. PlayStation has the best exclusive games. It gives you a reason to want to buy the PlayStation 5. You know, you've got the Spider-Man games, you've got the Wolverine game that's coming out, you've got the Horizon Zero Dawn, and the God of War. All of these big named PlayStation games.
I'm still waiting for you to name a good game to make me want to buy a PlayStation 5.
Well, what I'm saying, so on Xbox, we're only talking games like Halo and
there's a lot of exclusives.
There's a lot of exclusives, but nothing that you buy an Xbox for. You know what I'm saying? Like, you've got Grounded, you've got Halo. Halo is really the only one I think is the one that you would buy the Xbox for, and it's not even all that great of a game. Because I played it, and it's not that great of a game. And
Halo?
The new Halo, yeah.
I am enjoying it thoroughly. What are you talking about?
I did not like the level design. The level design really bothered me. But that's a totally different thing.
Oh boy. Okay, go ahead. It's all right. You have every right to be wrong, sir.
Well, you know what I think the thing I don't like about it is the whole I understand that you have to add things to the games and whatnot, but I don't like the grappling hook mechanic, and I don't.
Oh, the grappling hook is like one of my favorite things. I love to grapple into enemy, like grapple the enemy, and then pull myself into them and wham.
Well, if they integrated it better, I think it would have been better. Like, as it stands, you just have it, and they don't really explain it all that well.
It was in the end. All right, go ahead.
No, it's in the tutorial, but at the same time, it's like it happens at the very beginning, so it's like you don't have a chance to kind of slowly ease your way into using it, I guess.
If you played video games more often, you would be more acclimated to such things.
I'd be more proficient at the game. Yeah, I understand this,
go ahead.
It's just that I was not enjoying it. But then it's grounded. Like, can you name any more like Xbox games off the top of your head?
Is Forza exclusive?
Okay, that's not Forza or Halo.
What's that? The Viking Valhalla?
That's on every console. It was on Stadia.
Yeah.
Also, I would say Sea of Thieves as well.
Oh yes,
but that wasn't even a newer.
See, I didn't enjoy Sea of Thieves because you had to run around, do a whole bunch of stuff and everything, and that's the kind of game that you have to play with other people in order to make it fun. Yeah, and I didn't have it.
It's like a D&D campaign, frankly. It looked like it's like a whole lot of pirate role play.
Yeah, it was very much role play. And I enjoyed where it was going, but I did not enjoy it on my own. You know what I mean? Just by myself. Right. So I was like, yeah, I'm not going to play this.
The big thing, the reason why I even mentioned Sea of Thieves is because the same company that developed Sea of Thieves developed Banjo Kazooie. When they first kind of broke onto the scene, I mean, they had been out for a little while, and they had a few games like Snake Rattle and Roll and things of that nature that had come out. What's that? Wizards and Warriors on the NES. But they had bought some Silicon Graphics workstations, and they got the license, not really the license, but they got the go-ahead to make the classic game Donkey Kong Country. And that's really what kind of threw them out there into the limelight. And so much so that Nintendo bought 40% of their stock, essentially, because they were so enamored with what they were accomplishing. So once they got their hands on the Nintendo 64 framework, they started working on a game called Project Green, which is basically a role-playing game on a three-quarters perspective, where you were just like a little man walking around with a sword and whatnot. Because no one really liked the character, they changed it to a bear creature, that had a backpack that he would be able to pull things out of, and a giant sword. He looked a lot like Banjo, and they took that design philosophy, and once they saw Mario 64, they were like, "Oh, okay, this can be what we do." So that's where Banjo Kazooie kind of took inspiration.
Interesting.
Which is obvious because that's same type of game, really.
Sure.
What? There's a whole lot of awesome things that you can do in later game. Um, and I'm talking Banjo Kazooie and Banjo Tooie, where you would be able to transform into other creatures. There's so I'm not going to go into the history of the franchise, but I think that what really made it kind of fall apart is when Microsoft bought them. Imagine that. I am here telling you today that Microsoft can be saved if they release another Banjo game in the style of Banjo Kazooie and Banjo 2. Nuts and Bolts was fine. It's not.
Didn't play.
It's not as bad. It is the Halloween 3 of.
Oh my god.
3D platforming games. Yes. The thing is, it is so different that you can't compare it to what came before it. That's why I say it that way.
I see.
Because while it does have things in common with the other two Banjo games, it's mostly about constructing and using vehicles to doing all of the things that you would normally have done in previous games by doing the different moves that you were given throughout the game. So, yeah. So in Nuts and Bolts, it just wasn't the same feeling. Whenever you look at a Banjo Kazooie game, you have this feeling that you get whenever you're playing as the characters. In this game, you didn't get that. You didn't get that at all. It felt like an entirely different franchise. You need to go back to your roots for this. So here are my thoughts. Here's my pitch. So
let me get into
the big problem with the Banjo games and with a lot of games in that whole time frame is, are you okay?
Yeah. I was looking at where we were at on time. I didn't have bullet.
The thing is, they end up with a collectathon. I don't know if you've ever heard of that before.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's what these games are. These are, you run around and you pick up whatever things. In this case, it's puzzle pieces that will get you into the new levels. It's very functionally like the stars. There are musical notes that you have to pick up. There are honeycombs that you find. There are characters that are hidden throughout the level that are imprisoned or whatnot. And I understand that those kinds of games are just not popular nowadays.
Sure.
So what I propose is that they do what they do with Mario and just kind of reinvent what it is you're doing in the game functionally that builds on what you have done before. So what I mean by that, in Mario Odyssey, yes, you are going around and collecting things and whatnot, but there's this whole new aspect that you have with Cappy, and that whole field. There is always one thing now that is a little functionally different in each individual Mario game. Like, in Galaxy, you're going from galaxy to galaxy, and in Sunshine, you've got the water backpack and all of that kind of stuff. So it's a lot like the nuts and bolts thing, but not so. Don't go so far out of your way to change to reinvent the wheel, so to speak. Instead of doing something like that, why not make it 2-player co-op and have one person control Banjo and one person control Kazooie?
Okay.
Another thing that you could possibly do is have these driving levels, but have them just kind of as its own thing, like a side quest or a side mission, and not the main point of the game.
Sure. Yeah.
Have it where you. One thing I do like about Nuts and Bolts is that you're not kind of handcuffed by how they want you to beat a level or whatnot. So you can go about it in several different ways.
Okay.
I like that. Problem is, you have to be inside of a vehicle for most of them. So
you're
do that. Exactly.
Yeah.
Do that, but just have it where you can use the abilities that you've developed as a character throughout the game to solve these puzzles, as opposed to forcing you to like race somebody 17 times.
Yeah.
The dialogue also got a lot less funny in the last one. I don't know if I know. Okay, I do know that they had an entirely different creative team behind Nuts and Bolts versus first two games. In fact, it was the game that was kind of the spiritual successor to Banjo Kazooie, called Ukulele, that came out a few years ago. I think 6 years ago now.
Yeah, I actually own Ukulele.
It's basically
I just haven't played it yet. I got it on Amazon.
It's basically, you know what, I do too, and I don't know how to get it on my new computer. There's
you get the Amazon Gaming app.
That's another thing I got to sign up.
You get the Amazon Gaming. It's with your Prime subscription.
That's right.
Yeah.
I just haven't put it on this computer.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
But besides that, with that being said, that was kind of the Banjo 3 that everybody was wanting, but also it was too much alike the first two Banjo games. I mean, I feel like if Nintendo can do that, reinvent Mario is like they've been doing. I don't know why they can't do that with Banjo.
Yeah.
I mean, there's got to be some secret sauce out there. Now, I'm not somebody who is very, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't really. I'm not really a game developer. Surprise.
But you're not. I thought you were developing a game, Wally.
Right now, yes, as we speak. Well, okay, I am, but you know,
you are developing a game, therefore you are a game dev.
So what I was thinking actually is that this Nerd Cave game that I've been actually trying to figure out over the last few days.
Yeah.
No, I mean the last few months.
Yeah.
Could be kind of a Banjo Kazooie type game. But here's the thing. I think Banjo Kazooie could also have kind of a Zelda type open world situation where different sections of the open world are obviously different from the other sections.
Like zones,
yeah,
kind of thing.
Right. And because, you know, in the other games, they have kind of an overworld and you go into the different parts of Grunty's castle and whatnot. I think it would be cool if you would, like in Breath of the Wild, you have this whole expansive world. And instead of collecting 500 musical notes, you go to each individual level to collect just certain things as opposed to 1,000 of these things. Now, the platforming parts of it could just be, how to get to the puzzles and whatnot. Kind of like a Uncharted situation.
Oh yeah.
Where, or or even a newer example would be the new Star Wars games that are coming out. Have it where you have to get to a certain point, to collect a thing or move a switch or whatnot. Basically, what I'm trying to pitch here is give us something that has the art style and the heart and the humor of Banjo Kazooie without all of the stuff that makes it a slog. So don't give us a million things to call.
Yeah, and there was
5,000 musical notes in the last game.
Yeah, and that's the thing for me is, I think that's why I didn't really play it as long as I did, because I played the very first one. I had the very first one, and I was like, I'm gonna play this game because everybody says they like it. I understand. Excuse me. The game itself, the gameplay is fun, but you must collect things in order to progress. And you know what I mean? Like, you must find, I'm short 34 of the, or what, you know what I mean? Like,
it's exhausting.
Some of that stuff doesn't make any sense as to why it's here, or, you know what I mean?
How did they get up there?
Yeah, why is it there? How do you even get up? Wait, what do I need something, or am I just not jumping correctly, or whatever? You know what I mean? Like, so
and what
it was just work. I don't want to feel like I'm having to do work.
Oh my God. Exactly. That is exactly right. I don't want to be doing chores.
Yeah, I don't want to go do chores.
That's why I stopped playing Animal Crossing, because it felt like I was only logging in to do chores.
Yeah, now I have to, dang it, the grass is, I gotta pull these weeds.
Yeah, I gotta pull these weeds, and if I'm not there forever, they all, fame me.
We've been trying to get rid of this one character for like 3 years now, and he still won't leave the island. We have tried boxing them in, digging holes around him to where they're boxed in and he can't go anywhere, because they can't jump over the holes like you can. And
we tried hiring an assassin,
and it's yet to find one. I don't know. The daggone fox hasn't shown up in a while, and
that's
but yeah, we've been.
Oh my God, that was one guy
because we wanted somebody else. And we don't like him, and he just will not go away.
Just leave me alone. And that's really what it all boils down to. I don't want to play a game where it feels like I'm doing this out of an obligation. I don't want to play the game because out of an obligation. And I feel like that if you just set up the levels in such a way where you have to be clever or imaginative about how you get to the next part, that would be a lot more satisfying to me than collecting all of the things that I have to. I mean, the useless whatever it is.
Yeah.
I mean, like in the Mario games where you have the stars that you got to find.
Yeah, but you did.
You're gonna get
5,000. You just needed enough.
You only need enough to make it to the next level, but with over 5,000 available, that's too much. That is like, because if you needed 100% the game, you're going to be there for a very long time. And so that's my suggestions for Banjo Kazooie. Another thing, just one more thing, is that I feel like it doesn't make any sense to give abilities to Banjo and Kazooie that you only use in one section of the game.
That's kind of.
I think it should. It is. I think it should all be built on each other, so it just gives you more movement options or another attack option that you can build up and use in combination with the other things that you have learned, instead of having to only use it in this one specific scenario,
right,
and you'll never use it
and
again.
you'll never use it. Yeah, that's kind of dumb.
It is super dumb, and I don't like that part of it. But otherwise, yeah, that is my entire tirade against Banjo Kazooie, because I have played it both on the N64 and on the Xbox. Oh my god. The N64 version, every time you died, you lost all of your musical notes. And you had to start all the way over. Yeah. For that level.
I've only played the one that's on Xbox. The
Xbox ones, you didn't have that problem.
Yeah, so I know that wasn't a thing for me. I didn't.
So I'm glad they changed that. Keep that idea. Don't let us continue on without taking those things away.
Yeah.
Yes, there might need to be some punishment for dying or something in that energy. Not that.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, don't take away my stuff.
But yeah, anything you want to add or anything?
Not that I can think of. Like I said, I've not really played this game much. I played it for like an hour, and after an hour I determined that I was not enjoying myself.
That was kind of the scenario I was in.
I understand, I get it. I understand why people enjoy this game. There's the fun stuff is fun, but once I figured out that you must collect stuff in order to progress, rather than just progressing and collect things along the way. And if you want to collect stuff, and be a completionist, then collect all the things. But don't make it a requirement for me to go hunt things down so that way I can have fun on the next level. You know what I mean? To get to the next area and actually have fun again. I didn't like
Especially whenever you have to backtrack.
Yeah.
In games, I hate backtracking.
Yeah, I don't.
That's my only Metroid game. You got to go all the way through the level.
I get it. That's why I like Fusion as much as I do. Fusion is by far the best Metroid game. My humble opinion. I like Super Metroid just fine. It is one of the exceptions. Metroid is one of the exceptions of backtracking games that I make. The atmosphere makes up for that. The feeling of isolation and the feeling of it's just you versus these monsters and whatnot and everything. They did a good job. Fusion was very linear. You will if you open up your map, you will not get lost, and you know where to go. The map doesn't necessarily open up all the way. It just kind of gives you a general area. You have to go over here, and you have to find your way to get to that part of the map, even though it's not routed yet. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. And I know what you mean.
And then once you get to like the navigation room, then you download the map, and the rest of the map shows in that area. So you're like, okay, now I know where I can go. But it is a lot more linear than that. And yes, technically there's backtracking because you have to go back to certain areas, but this isn't the type of game where Fusion wasn't one of the ones where you can go too far into the game and into areas that you did not have access to. Like in the other Metroid games, you could go into somewhere and they're murdering you because you don't have the right equipment. This one, it's kind of closed off, and you can't go anywhere you're not supposed to go for the most part.
Right.
And I like that, because if I'm not ready to go there yet, don't let me go in there and get killed.
That's just, I'm not supposed to be here yet.
Yeah, I'm not supposed to be here. So that's what I liked about Fusion. It had horror elements kind of thing to it and everything, and it had a scary vibe to it. It was really well done. But I didn't feel that it was a chore that way. But when I was playing this Banjo,
it does.
Banjo. It just, like I said, I played for like an hour, and I was like, not gonna be for me. So uninstall.
Right.
Cut that one out.
Which, it's. I know a lot of people love Banjo Kazooie.
Oh yeah.
Derek Diamond especially.
Yeah.
And but
I understand the appeal.
I do understand the appeal. I understand why you would want to play this game.
Yeah.
It's just it's in the year of our Lord 2023. It is not the type of game that I would want to play again because it is. I did try to play it again. Like I played it on N64 when it first came out, and now with the 360, in a superior version is available on the Real Replay. I still don't.
Even with the being
I will not
improvements. Yeah.
Yeah, even with the improvements, I just can't play a game like this anymore. I cannot. But just make it to where the goals are less gathering things. That's all I ask.
Yeah.
And also no first person mode, please. That's ridiculous. Like they had a first person mode in Banjo Tooie. It was like GoldenEye.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, is it like GoldenEye where you have it?
It was, and I'm like, what is happening here? Don't do that.
Please don't do that.
Yeah. But yeah, there we go. Is anything else you want to talk about?
No, not that I can think of off the top of my head. And if I'm forgetting something, I apologize.
Well,
no, I can't think of anything. Do you have the?
Let me pull up some things real quick. But so you can actually go to our wait a minute, I spelled it. You can actually go to our link tree, which is, isn't it deadgame.com or deadgamepod.com?
What? You're supposed to know this?
Well, we've had a script, and I don't know where it went. Deadgamepod.com, you can actually go to all these different places. And you can also go to Patreon, patreon.com/therealbigwall. I am on the Patreon right now, and it's not showing me anything.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's not showing me our patrons.
Oh,
well, last time I looked, our patrons was Billy Bones, Mike England, and Danny House. So thank you to you if you are still doing it. If not, I am sorry about. Okay, I found it. Okay. Yes, I do have those. Those 3 patrons are still there.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say. So I know.
We very much appreciate you. Yes.
So Patreon sometimes will mess up the payments. Oh, you reminded me. I need to fix my payment thing because I have some. So, I'm a patron of Nerd Cave Retro and Open Micers and Jester's Court currently, and I did not get my shout out last week on Nerd Cave Retro, and they talked about it, and I was like, I wonder what happened, and I was like, I'll have to look at it, and I completely forgot. You know what I mean? Because I was at work when I was listening to the episode, and Because what'll happen is like they record their show at 6 o'clock live, But if I'm cooking or something and I'm moving back and forth, I'm not actively listening. I have it playing, to give the view, and I'll try to participate in the chat when I can. But I'll typically have my phone sitting down, and we're probably cooking dinner, or I'm doing something else. You know what I mean? I've got other things that I'm taking care of at the moment.
Right.
I forgot to check on the Patreon thing, and then they went live today because they record on Mondays, and they went live earlier, and I was not mentioned again, and I was like, I forgot to check the Patreon. And so I looked at it on my phone, And I figured out what happened is my card expired. I forgot that I got a replacement card last month. And yeah, so I have to update that information. That's what's going on. And I was like, curse you, expiration date.
Well, I guess that's the end of today. Do you know what you're talking about next time? Or
You know what? I am.
Or is this season over with? I don't know what we're doing.
No. We have one left. We have one left, and it'll be on the it'll be on the last one. I think I'm gonna talk about. I think I'm gonna talk about Contra. Now I know that they released a game recently, in the last few years. I think they did it wrong. And it's obvious that they did it wrong because nobody liked it. So,
well, I mean, I didn't even know it happened.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I'll talk about it in the episode, but you won't like this game. If you
real not no
Wally, you don't like video games already. Number one. Number two.
That is correct. Yes.
It just wasn't done well. The entire game was a top-down shooter. It was not Contra-like at all.
Yeah, it wasn't the 2D side scroll.
No, it wasn't a
2D.
No, it wasn't a shoot 'em up game. It was a they were trying to do the Enter the Gungeon type thing, and it was a twin stick shooter, essentially, and it
so dumb.
Yeah, and that was the entire game. The guns sucked. The power ups were. I didn't bother playing it. I was watching like other people play. I was like, oh, I gotta buy this a Contra game. I forgot it. I gotta get that. Because I like Contra.
This was not Contra?
This was not Contra. I don't know what they were going for on this. Now, I'm not going to get into it. Never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah, don't get it on TV.
You think you're going to get the double whammy episode, listeners? You're sort of mistaken.
This is the Lord of the Rings of podcasts.
I know.
To film both.
We're going to film both. Yeah, but I'll get into it on the next episode. But I think I'm going to go with Contra. I was thinking about going with Galaga because, I like shooters. But yeah. But yeah, no, can you tell? I'm sure the listeners can obviously tell that I play a lot of retro games, and you play more current stuff. A lot of the things you talk about are more current, and a lot of things I talk about are like, remember the day when I was young. When I was young,
Banjo Kazooie.
Yeah.
No, I do go into games that are with. The thing is, a lot of the games that I'm talking about even aren't that recent. Like even Fortnite, which is still ongoing. Fortnite came out in 2016, so 7 years ago.
Yeah,
so it's almost a decade old at this point.
Right, but but all of my games are older than 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I get that.
Mine are within the last 30 years.
Control Rock Band 4, I think, came out 2017, 2016, something like that. But then there was and we talked about D&D. That was 2014 that edition came out. These games are older than what we think they are. But yeah, the Banjo Kazooie, the last one that came out was 2008.
Yeah.
So this definitely that 100% is a game that needs a refresh.
Yeah, that definitely needs
a refresh. Yes. But yeah, if you can't do our Patreon, another good way to support us is to like, share, subscribe, write a review on Apple Podcasts.
Please do.
You can find me at The Real Big Wall, him at I Am The Rampage 1. And I think that's everything. And that's the number 1.
Yeah.
But thank you, and live long and smoke meats.
See y'all next time, everybody. Have a good night.
Uh-huh.